Huge show coming up here on 100% Footy. How about those Panthers? 9 wins on the trot and somehow they're back in the top 4. Absolute disaster for the Broncos. 3 series hamstring injuries. So what does that mean for their premiership chances? It was mayhem on Saturday night between the Dolphins and the Roosters. 4 players sent to the sin bin. We'll get the inside word from Sam Walker because tonight he is our star in the spotlight. We'll also chat about his comeback from an ACL injury. We've got all the latest scuttlebutt hot off the press, plus there's still plenty more to dissect from what was a wild weekend of footy.
Indigenous round underway. Reynolds is after him. Here's the wild man. He's missed him.
The biggest things happened. Adam Reynolds has tore his hamstring.
The Broncos are cursed here. Now Ezra Mam is in a world of pain. Cobbo is gone now. He reaches out and puts it down at another one of the highlights reel. So Melbourne continue on their way.
Falls here for Lindsay Smith. Oh, Superman style for the corner. They are in the top 4.
As Ricky's men look to return to the top of the ladder with victory tonight. He dummies, he steps and he beats them all helplessly. Strange! How do you like that? He's up for 3!
Personally, I think he'll play for Australia this year and I think he'll play Origin over the next year or 2.
The crowd rises as one, and this is a great win from St George Illawarra.
Leniu coming across says, let's go. Oh, that's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous behaviour by Spencer Leniu.
Go. Yep.
11 versus 11. The Roosters have taken down the Dolphins.
Stephen Crichton. What a game he's having. What a leader he is. Moses kicking for the Fox. Oh, Adokar! That's the genius at the number 7. Why not, says Mitch. Oh, they rise at Combank for Mitch Moses.
And that's why you get the big bucks, baby.
Yes, welcome to 100% Footy. Great to have your company this evening. Another crazy weekend of footy. So there is a lot to dissect with Paul Gallen. How are you, Gal?
Thank you.
Cameron Smith.
Hello, Em.
Great to have you on. And Top Dog. Well,
Emma, how are you?
all the better for seeing you.
Wonderful.
You must be happy with the doggies.
It's only early, Emma.
But
it's not early,
it's
mate.
only round 23. Does that still
Long way
work?
to go yet.
You won in the wet.
Long way to
You
go.
won in the wet. You must be happy with that.
Yeah, that helps.
All right, we'll leave him alone for now. Let's take a look at the ladder as it stood before the round and at the end. We had some matches with huge finals ramifications. So there we have our little special graphic and, up go the Panthers. Can you believe it? Into the top 4. In round 12, they were sitting dead last on the ladder. The bottom 4 of the 8 all had losses, so the big mover outside the 8, the Roosters. They are now only just outside of finals place on points differential, and a win for the Rabbitohs means they are now just ahead in that race for the spoon. The big talking point, of course, all the way back to Thursday night, the Broncos, 3 serious hamstring injuries. So the diagnosis that we've got so far, Ezra Mam and Selwyn Cobbo looking at least 6 weeks plus. But for Adam Reynolds, it's a little bit better, probably 3 to 4 weeks. What does that mean for their season? First off, Ben Hunt, we expect will go into number 7. But for number 6, Cam, are you thinking a Billy Walters? Is it maybe a Jock Madden? Could Tony Staggs can go there?
Well, that's the mail, isn't it? That Billy Walters is going to be handed the number 6 jersey, and that's a great story in itself, given that his father Kevin wore the number 6, famous number 6 jersey for the Broncos. I think Corey Pakes will go to 9 as well. So there is a little bit of reshuffling there, but I guess the bonus for Michael Maguire and the Broncos is that they get to fill in, or they have a guy to fill in that number 7 jersey in the absence of Reynolds, with a guy by the name of Ben Hunt. He's played over 300 games, so there's not too many clubs that can afford to lose their halves and then replace them with such experienced players. Great news for the club, I guess. You know, watching the vision of those guys do their hamstrings the other night, like Adam Reynolds looked the worst of the 3, I thought, just by the pictures, and I thought, look, this is going to be a pretty long stint on the sideline, given the issues that he's had with the hamstring over the last 18 months. This is on this chase here. You just see him right near Xavier Coates and he pulls up lame and we don't see him again for the rest of the match. But I thought he was going to be the longer of the 3, but the diagnosis seems quite good for him.
Yeah, you're right though, Smith. When you have a look at their roster, there's still got guys like Tony Staggs, Payne Haas, Jordan Rugby, Pat Carrigan, Hunt, as you said, and Reece Walsh. Like, they have one of the best rosters in the competition. Some of them blokes you talk about bringing in, Pakes, he was outstanding at the start of the year.
Yeah.
So they've got a very, very good roster. Can they still win the comp without them guys on the day, playing against maybe a Melbourne Storm or a Penrith Panthers? I would probably doubt that.
Yeah.
But as far as making the top 8, I think they definitely get in there. And then all of a sudden you talk about the first week or second week of the semi-finals, then blokes may be back. So, I don't think it's all doom and gloom for the Broncos. We're sort of feeling sorry for them at the moment, but I still think they've got a fantastic roster and there's still a big chance of being there.
So over the next 3 weeks, a reasonably favourable draw before that tough one to end the season with the Storm.
Well, the Storm might be resting players by then. I mean,
Correct.
that's a week out from the finals. If the Storm have got a top 2 spot locked down and a home semi-final, they may well rest players for that game as well, which would make all the better for the Broncos. As Cameron says, to have Ben Hunt on the roster to replace an Adam Reynolds, I mean, there's no team in the competition that can do that, have that luxury. So they get a game-managing halfback with great experience. They've got great athletes in their club. Much of it is like for like, and I think that they'll still be very formidable, and they'll be steaming a little bit by what happened in Melbourne the other night. They won't like them losing like that.
Would you go as far as to say they can still win the competition?
Anyone can win the competition. Trust me, this competition is bizarre. Anyone can win the competition. There's a lot to play out yet. There's still 4 rounds of home and away and then 4 weekends of finals, and anyone can win this competition. You just got to have a good month in September. Get there healthy and have a good month and you can do it.
And on top of that, as I said, them guys, the first, second week of the semi-finals may be back.
Yep.
Then all of a sudden they're fresh, and all of a sudden they probably become favourites because they are so fresh and ready to go. So, yeah, a lot to play out yet. A week in rugby league's a long time, let alone
It's
4
40
weeks.
minutes this year in rugby league is a long time even.
Definitely.
What about, is someone like Kobe Black, would you blood a youngster, a 19-year-old? Is it not the right time of the season?
Well, yeah, I don't think it's the right time for him. I think, I've heard Lockie speak in the last couple of days about the possibility of Black playing, but I think when you do have those experienced players that we just mentioned, particularly Ben Hunt, I think it's a no-brainer. This time of year in particular, when you just need someone to take the reins of the footy side for the next month and just get the team playing the best they can into finals week 1, and hopefully you have a Reynolds back and possibly Ezra Mam shortly after that as well. And then they have their best-looking spine back together. His time will come. Kobe Black.
Well, in the end, it was a comfortable victory for your Melbourne Storm, and they're not doing too bad considering they've had a pretty hefty injury toll as it is. And it's absolutely wild to think that we're going to have one of the most epic matches on Thursday night, a grand final rematch between the Storm and the Panthers. In round 12, Penrith was sitting at the bottom of the ladder, and can you believe it, now after 9 wins on the trot, they are back in the top 4.
The 4 times defending Premier.
Penrith fell apart. Undisciplined, errors.
Everything seems to be.
I feel for Penrith because we've lost so many top-line players.
There's certainly some concerns.
Bottom line is we just need to play better.
The ladder doesn't really matter until July or August or something.
What a play that was there.
Keep an eye on the Panthers, 17th.
Seen that before.
We're just trying to play some decent footy here. Round 12, here they come.
2 of the young guns combining.
Bang, just outside the 8.
The young fellas in their team and their squad all of a sudden feel more a part of this season than ever.
All of a sudden they're in the 8 after 16 rounds.
Charge down!
They keep on charging in the 7th.
They found their rhythm.
Panthers were dead last. They've climbed their way up.
Completely ad-lib football.
Can it be so? And suddenly look like they could win the premiership.
They're not giving away the trophy without a fight.
I just think they're really priming themselves for the right time of the year.
I'm telling you right now, they'll win 9 in a row.
Goes all the way himself.
We predicted it. When they get it right, they're extremely hard to beat.
Those 4 teams sitting in the top 4 at the moment, they'd be looking over their shoulder big time.
It doesn't matter where they finish. They can definitely win it.
Yep, the Panthers back in the top 4. And before we get into what that means, did we all just hear Cameron Smith say they will win 9 in a row? Throw 2 buys in there as well, but he had a little fist pump while he was watching that little recap.
Happy with that
You
call.
picked it, Cam?
Well, watching them go about their business in those early wins, and then looking at the draw, it was quite favourable for them with the opposition, but it's incredible. It's nothing short of incredible, really, what they've done to turn their season around, where there was a few people in the game saying, well, this could be the year where we see Penrith fall off their perch and not even be a part of semi-final football, but some of the pictures that we've seen over the this is some of the early action from their season.
It was un-Panthers-like,
well,
wasn't it?
Well, it wasn't, and Gal and I spoke about that, where you've seen them come up with very uncharacteristic mistakes, like simple errors in the play of the ball. This was a big moment here by Nathan Cleary in that classic Bulldogs match at Combank, where he charged the ball down and scored and then ended up winning the game. But they look like a completely different side with their sole focus on going for 5 in a row.
You heard what Joey said, what Billy Slater said, what me and Cam said in the past. It was all true at the time. They were looking like a shadow of them former selves, and particularly around the way they were playing, their discipline, their fundamental errors were just horrible. But God, they've turned it around. I can't believe they're back where they are, to be honest. In the top 4 is amazing. They've got a big 3 weeks coming up. They play all the top 4 sides over the next 3 weeks. That'll be a big test. If they can win a couple of them, I reckon by the luxury they've had in the years gone by, particularly post-Origin, they've been able to rest players. They've done that periodically the past few weeks. They've rested a player here and there. But I reckon if they can get a couple of these wins over the next 2 weeks, I'm pretty sure they play the Dragons last round of the competition. They can cement their spot in that top 4. I reckon they'll rest the majority of their team that week and they'll go into the semi-finals fresh and fired, and 5 in a row. It's not beyond them. You'd be a brave man to say they can't do it.
Gus, how much? I mean, they've got guns, these young guns, the likes of Blaze Talangi. I mean, Tom Jenkins, he was playing for St Mary's not so long ago. Casey McLean as well. Did it just take time for them to learn the rigours of being a week in, week out, consistent first grader?
Yeah, it helps when you're playing with half a dozen of the best players in the game in their particular positions, and they've always had that, those champion players. Early in the season, I don't think it was a premiership hangover. I think it was more a Las Vegas hangover. They went to Vegas and won their first game of the year very impressively, then came back and just spent the next 8 or 9 weeks bumbling around a little bit, and teams were taking advantage of that loss of form. But it's amazing, isn't it, this competition. Every year, no matter how you run it, start to finish, finish to start, Origin, the whole thing, when we get to August, September, the cream rises to the top. And there they are, the Storm and the Panthers again in the top 4, and they're going to play the big game this week. And it will be a grand final rehearsal for those two sides. That'll be the attitude that they've got. They'll be looking at each other now. They've forgotten about everybody else. They'll be just looking at each other.
What about someone like Nathan Cleary? So he's arguably the best player in the game, but that loss in the Origin series, he took it to heart and he said, you know what, I'm going to learn from that, stand up, look it in the face and become a better player. And it seems, Cam, like he has genuinely gone to another level. Joey just said on the weekend, he's literally on another planet.
Yeah, well, he would have challenged himself, to go out and be a huge reason why New South Wales won that series in Game 3, Em. It didn't pan out the way he wanted it to, along with the rest of his teammates. So the good players then, okay, they get over that disappointment, that they then shift or refocus on what's my next challenge. And that was going back and training as hard as he could for Penrith, getting his club side back on track, and he's done that. He's been a huge part of, as he would be with the number 7 jersey on his back, he's been a huge part of the resurgence of this footy side. Along with, like you look at the way they go about their footy, the work rate that they put into their roles. Every player is accountable. You can see that with the way they play each week. But certainly that man there, he looks like he's on a mission at the moment.
You know what impressed me most about post-Origin? He didn't shy away from it at all.
No,
he addressed it, he owned it himself, and he just got on with it. And as you said, trained hard, went back to club level, and is absolutely excelling at the moment. But you got to really respect the bloke for the way he dressed it. He never shied away from it one bit. He said, I wasn't good enough on the night, didn't play good enough. We didn't play good enough as a side. We got beaten. But to address that and take that on, not on his own, but he did take it on. I was very impressed with that.
And didn't avoid or knock back any media interviews as well, which often players, understandably, can do. So looking forward to seeing what he can do once again as we head into
when you run
September.
4 comps in a row, it gives you a bit of confidence.
Yeah, a little bit.
Would be nice.
But he's all the talk about him is he hasn't dominated an Origin series yet. And after that Origin series...
How many players have done that?
No, I agree with you, Gus, but I'm saying what I'm saying is he didn't shy away from it for a second.
No.
He addressed it. He had all the media interviews, as you said. He just addressed it and got on with footy, and he's flying.
Yeah, I hate that thing, dominating Origin. I mean, Origin's the pinnacle. I mean, very, very few players have actually dominated a game, let alone dominate Origin or what you would call Origin. You know, that'll come. That game will come for him one day.
Moving on to what they're calling Trainergate 2.0. So we thought last week perhaps that was the last one we'd see for a while with the Panthers trainer, but with the Cowboys, oops. So the NRL is saying they're fine with this one because that's an orange shirt, Cam.
Yes.
So a medical one is allowed to be on the field at any stage. So you agreed?
Yeah,
no
so,
problems with that one?
this is Steve Satori. He's the physio. Chickens. Yeah. He's the physio for the Cowboys. So anyone wearing an orange shirt, for those at home that aren't aware of it, orange shirt runners are the medical runners. So they can enter the field of play at any stage. It's the blue shirts that only allowed on at a certain time. I think that was Alan Lang, wasn't it? Alan Lang is the one that...
The orange shirt can't deliver messages.
No, that's right.
They can't deliver messages to the team. They're allowed on to check injured players. Particularly when their team has the ball. So their team did have the ball, he was allowed on. But what surprised me was the fact that they got the feed, they got the ball. I thought it probably should have been a changeover. Because if it doesn't hit him, it probably goes into the in goal and they probably get a repeat. They probably would have dropped the ball out.
But they ruled mutual infringement, so...
There'd be no orange shirt runners taking messages, would
In his defence, he didn't...
There'd be none.
Well, most of them have never played football. They're medics, they're paramedics, or they're doctors or physiotherapists and all that. So and they haven't been on football fields ever, let alone in that sort of environment. And I don't think he thought Braden Burns was going to pass him the ball. He went out there and thought, well, I'm not going to have to catch anything, and he probably wasn't watching, you know. Anyway.
Chickens has been around for a while, trust me. He knows
Good
footy.
placement.
He knows footy.
Well,
what's happened off the back of that? Has there been a change to the rules or...?
150,000.
Well, you made them back in the day, so do you want to... Can you speak to... No, sorry. I've got to be... I'm only on for one show, so I've got to be nice while I'm here. We're going to move on because, tell you what, the Titans had a bit of fun as well after Trainergate last week. This is what unfolded at their training session.
Get your head back in it. Now kick it. Oh, you hate to see it, you do. Here we go. Chewy on your boot. Nah, short. Short. Yes, got it. Short. That's crazy. There he is.
Why didn't he do that in the game, but why didn't he do that in the game?
Bit of fun from the Titans. You've got to love it. Cam, would you have ever struggled, you know, something distracted you, taking a conversion at any stage in your career? Any...
He slips over and still kicks him.
Well,
no.
But the crowd, the Roosters, I might talk to Sammy Walker about this. That was the Roosters crowd. They were giving it to me. They were all holding behind me. That was luck, that one. Pure luck.
You can do it all. So a trainer certainly wouldn't have bothered you. Speaking of doing it all, Cam, sorry to embarrass you, but a massive congratulations. You've just been inducted into the Australian Sport Hall of Fame alongside some absolute legends.
Leighton Hewitt, Mark Schwarzer, Laura Geitz. Just really blown away actually when I found out the news that I was being inducted in the Sports Australia Hall of Fame. Some wonderful athletes across the history of Australian sports, not just rugby league, but a lot of Olympians. Dawn Fraser, Don Bradman, the great Joey Johns is in there as well. Jonathan Thurston. So yeah, incredible. Very, very humbling, very honoured. And I think we have there's an official sort of induction at the end of the year, which is going to be great.
Well, from everyone here at Wide World of Sports, a big congratulations to you. There's plenty more coming up here on 100% Footy, so this is what is in store.
Billy Smith, was he hit high? Door boy, and then Spencer Leniu comes in. You need to be careful, Spence. Tedesco is there. Keeps it going. Mwanga Nitawasi.
Hold on, things have sparked up. It's on for young and old.
They have come from all parts here.
Just watch you hit the bottom of your screens.
Leniu coming across says, let's go. Oh, that's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous behaviour by Spencer Leniu.
Yeah, he's lost his cool here, Spencer.
Spencer, go.
Both sides down to 11, can you believe it?
And look at this. Siwa Wong has been knocked out cold. piece of play. Asako, a juggle, taken into touch by Sam Walker. Walker gives it to Lenu, straight through them. Nobody can stop him. Spencer Lenu. Zavala to Walker. Rubbers to Tedesco. Teddy is there. Off and running. Tedesco again. Oh, yeah. Don't know that he met it like that. It sits up for Walker. Now he wants a long ball. Looks infield instead. Goes over the top. He fooled everybody.
A game to remember on Saturday night. Absolute chaos between the Roosters and the Dolphins up at Suncorp Stadium. We'll get the inside word from Roosters superstar Sammy Walker. Sam, how are you? Thanks for coming on.
Good, thank you. Thanks for having me.
We'll touch on that first. What was that like? When the chaos unfolded in the in-goal area, whereabouts were you? I know you weren't really right in the thick of the action.
I wasn't quite getting in the middle of all that. No, I was sort of getting ready to goal kick and then... I sort of seen it all start to happen, so I wandered over there. I seen Nick Arima at the back. I said, me and you aren't made for this, mate. We'll hang over the back here.
Sammy, the start of that game, the first 15 and 20 minutes, it was ding-dong battle. You were both ripping into each other. Then all of a sudden you just blew them off the park. Were you expecting that?
No, I think the first sort of 15, 20, we expected a fair bit of that sort of game. Both teams sort of fighting for that finals position and... obviously got a lot more heated than we would have expected, but we sort of held our cool while we had 11 on the field, and then I thought we finished off that first half. That sort of end of that first half sort of won us that game, I thought.
4 players sent to the bin. Do you think things needed to be cooled down a bit, or do you think that was maybe a little bit over the top?
It's obviously it's hard when you're in the game, I guess, to sort of understand what's sort of going on. Honestly, I wouldn't mind if the game went to 11 on 11 and probably see me a little bit more. But I don't know. I think sending 4 players off in the one instance for a push and shove probably might have been a little bit too much. But
it's hard for you to comment on, I suppose. But from me looking in, watching the game, I was shocked he sent 4 to the bin, and I can't believe that they got 2 sent to the bin. Like Spencer, I love Spencer. Spencer Lindsay's a great player. He's flying at the moment. But in my opinion, he started it. I don't understand why they also got... This is a competitive sport. We all compete on absolutely everything. If someone's pushing and shoving and shaping up you surely allowed to stick up for yourself.
Well, Jared Sutton was pretty clear in what he wanted. Let's take a listen.
We've got Spencer, and what's the name of the Dolphins bloke? Spencer and Orblick start it. Then I've got Nafahu who comes in and really escalates it. And that's on Francis, so mate, I'd like 2 and 2.
I'd like 2 and 2.
That's
thoughts, Cam?
Spencer started. Spencer probably should have gone. White coming in and escalated, should have gone. Probably one of the Dolphins players, but not 2. You're allowed to stick up for yourself, surely.
I don't like. I want 2 and 2. Yeah. It just doesn't sound good. It's like I don't want to disadvantage. What are you laughing
at? You're giggling.
No, what it sounds like is the referees, right? They don't want to make a decision that disadvantages one side over the other. Now, as Sammy just spoke about, it was a big game for both clubs on the weekend. They're both fighting for a spot in the 8. So the result was vitally important with only 4 or 5 rounds to go. So. I didn't like that at all. I'm with Gal. Watching it all unfold, I thought there was one main instigator of the whole thing. That was Spencer. So if there was someone that needed to cool their jets a little bit, put Spencer in the bin for 10, let him settle down and get on with the game.
Well, what's done is done. Anyway.
No, it's done now. It's chip paper now.
It's painful. It really is painful that our game gets represented like that. Like, we hype these games up. We promote them and we hype the rivalry, all right? We want our players to be gladiators. We celebrate their toughness. We celebrate their skill. We celebrate everything. A little bit of argy-bargy in the opening stages of a finals prospect game, all right? And all of a sudden we've got to send 4 blokes to the sin bin. Not a punch was thrown, not a person was hurt, all right? Not a punch was thrown, not a person was hurt, all right? What message are we trying to say? That we want you to be angels on the field. We want to hype this up as gladiatorial, but we want you to be angels on the field and not have a little bit of rivalry in what you're doing. There was no reason to send 4 players to send anyone to the sin bin. If you wanted to send someone to the sin bin, sent Spencer, who probably started it off with a bit of agitation. The other 3 were just victims in the whole scenario. But to stand there and say, I want 2 and 2, I'm going to make a statement here and we're going to have 11 players on 11, what does that do for the game? I don't think it does anything for the game, and I don't think anyone supports it.
I know many agree with you, Gus, but it's a difficult one for you to talk about. So we'll get back to the footy. It's been great to see you make your comeback from that ACL injury, and you've been in incredible form. How's your confidence now after a month or so back?
Yeah, it's no, I'm feeling really good. I think it was, I was really excited to get back out there. We've got a really good young group of boys that have been playing really good footy, and they've been, stepping up to the plate each sort of week. And yeah, I was just really excited to get back out there and to join that sort of team again. And I feel like I'm starting to find my lungs a bit more. It's took a couple of weeks there, but no, I feel like each week I'm sort of building on my performance. I don't think I'm at where I completely want to be at yet, but no, I feel like I'm on a good path, and the club is really supporting me with that at the moment.
You only just started out your NRL journey, Sammy. Look, what was it like as a young fella going through that long rehabilitation? Because it was nearly 12 months, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a fair while. I guess it was frustrating missing that back end of last year. I thought we were in a really good position as a team. It was sort of in the top 4 there. Felt really comfortable with my footy in the position that the team was also in, and yeah, it was pretty devastating that period there. And I guess this year hasn't probably been as bad. I think looking forward to coming back and be able to push for finals and be able to push for premierships is something that I want to do the whole time. And being able to look at that first half of the year and go, see the position, watch a lot of football, understand what's going on in the game, and then be able to come back in and attack that back end of the year was really exciting for me.
Sammy, what about some of the members of your spine, young Hugo Savala? He's going pretty well. You enjoying that relationship with him? And mate, James Tedesco, he's got to be in career best form. He's unbelievable.
Yeah, it was pretty special. I was Hugo's doing an unbelievable job there. I think his long kicking game's probably arguably, in my opinion, like the best in the game, and his composure for someone only a few games into his career is been really impressive. And yeah, like you said, Teddy's Teddy, I guess. It doesn't matter what's going on with the team or what's sort of happening in football. His not much changes in him, and I think just everyone watches what he does on the field, week in, week out. But what we see, away from sort of the cameras, away from even at training, away from training, the hours he puts into his craft is something really special, and something that inspires a lot of the young players, which I think is why they're doing as well as they are. They have such a great leader that's sort of showing them the way. What about your off-the-cuff, instinctive footy, I guess, that we all love? Has that always been your style from when you were a kid just playing in the backyard? Have you always loved to play footy that way? Yeah, I think obviously having my dad and my uncle, that sort of we love this. Where's he going? The Doggies fans, Gus's Doggies fans weren't too happy with that one. That's for sure. Probably not the best team to do it.
Do you have nightmares about dropping the ball?
Oh, I wish I kind of had him then. That one. No, it's I think just the way I've sort of been, grown up, being taught the game, and it was obviously a bit different out there. I was encouraged to do a lot more off the cuff and play. It's sort of a different style of football that a lot of people probably don't get the opportunity or don't grow up sort of playing. And I played a lot of touch football as well, coming through as well, which I think sort of helped with a lot of the development in my game. And I was lucky enough to go to the Roosters, where they've really encouraged me and guided me into the football that I've become. Your dad, would you love to be coached by him and your uncle? I'm happy with the Roosters at the moment. I think it's something I'd love to see them, coaching, and obviously the Jets here hadn't been trained by them younger. I think they'd do an unbelievable job as coaches, but I know right now that I'm pretty set on the Roosters.
Yeah, Roosters play the Bulldogs this week, so I haven't got no questions, mate. I bought you some lollies. I bought you some Dettol to drink.
Chat him up, poison him.
That's not too bad. Yeah.
What about your old man and your uncle Shane? That their names have been spoken about potentially coaching the Titans. How would they go at that level? Because they were very successful at Queensland Cup level.
Yeah, I think it's obviously a very biased opinion, but I think they do an unbelievable job. The way that they see the game. I think the NRL is probably especially Titans as well. I think they're probably pushing towards, you know, a sort of a different sort of style. They've probably gone for the sort of same look a fair bit, and obviously hasn't worked. And I think the way that they sort of coach, it looks like it's all attack and it's all, you know, off the cuff and so erratic, I guess the word is. And but sort of the way they do it all, it's very methodical, and it's very detailed, and it's very you know, thought out. And the way that the reason why they do a lot of, I don't want to give too much away, but the reason why they do a lot of their stuff is yeah, it's for a reason, and it works. And you know, they're very passionate about how they do it.
Tell me about your evolution as a playmaker, as a halfback. You came in at a very young age to first grade. Can you compare yourself now, how you think about the game, to how you thought about it back then?
Yeah, I reckon I probably walked in and I was probably pretty naive, I guess, and it definitely helped me a lot though as well. I think I came in and I didn't care too much on what happened or what people thought of me as a player, or I guess what sort of the result of what I did on the field. All I wanted to do was win. I wanted to win games of football, and I believe that the way that I played was going to be the best way to do that.
Because you get plenty of advice. There's plenty of people in the media, and there's plenty of coaches out there, and there's plenty of neighbours and friends and people down the pub when young kids come in telling them what they're doing wrong or what they're not doing right, isn't there? Yeah,
for sure. I think, yeah, I reckon I walked in and I sort of had that that way, and then there's the year I got dropped. I think that was probably a big lesson for me as well. I probably tried to be a bit more safe and a bit more careful of the way that I played, and I know it probably didn't suit the way that I wanted to play. I knew that wasn't going to win me games of football, and if I was out there, there's no point having me there if I'm going to play that sort of style. I'm at the Roosters, I'm playing a certain style for a reason, and yeah, I believe that's the best way to win a game of football.
Cameron will probably like this part too. Your goal kicking suddenly improved out of sight overnight. What was the key to it?
Well, my first year I had very bad AC joint, so I couldn't goal kick at all. Couldn't practice, so I had to wait till I got a jab in my shoulders before I could even have a shot at the goal. So I think being able to actually practice it helped me a fair bit. But actually able to practice it after that first year, it was sort of yeah, I feel like I've goal kicked pretty well ever since then, and I think it's just all confidence.
Now you hit the post.
Cam knows.
You hit the post on the weekend with 27.
I know.
I was on radio doing the game thinking I was praying you're going to get to 35 straight. I think that's a record. And you hit the post on 27. I couldn't believe it.
And
Segway.
Awesome. Well done, Gal. You should host, because Sammy Walker this week is our cash converters conversion of the week. You were on, yes, the streak of 27 in a row. Do you feel the pressure when you're on such a streak like that?
Did you know?
Oh,
no, I knew.
No.
You did.
Yeah, I knew. Yeah, it was.
You'd want that one over again, wouldn't you?
Definitely. It was. You know it when the game's like out of the balance. I'd say when you're in the heat of it and it's sort of you know, close to anything like that, you're not really thinking about it. But when it was sort of the last like 5 minutes, I was definitely thinking about it.
So, I mean, what about the rumours of DCE going to the club? I don't know, you probably can't say too much about it, but do you think having someone that go to your club would help someone like yourself and young Savala?
Yeah, for sure. I've said it the whole time. I think you know, he's a grand final winner, you know, captain our state, and it's someone that yeah, I've definitely looked up to as well. And you know, to welcome someone like him of his calibre into our club is yeah, it's exciting, and you know, I know us as a club would welcome it.
Well, I tell you what, we're very, very happy that you're able to come in, but you have the opportunity now because
take those lollies with
you know,
you.
this is what it's done to you. Any hard-hitting questions for Gus before you head off? Or anything you want to know about the doggies?
I can't teach him anything.
We've got nothing for him.
No? Okay, Friday nights, bring it on Allianz Stadium, the Doggies and the Roosters, live and free from 7:30 p.m. Very much looking forward to that one. Sammy Walker.
This my tempo, smoking like a mento. Black man on a mission, doing what I meant to. Suckers can't do it like this, or no. Watch them fall down off the pedestal. What you doing up there anyway? Kids call me young, I ain't here to play. Treat our culture like a little game. Urban type on some giveaway. You can be a leader, she can be a leader. Everyone a leader till these fools don't need ya. We just trying to teach you the principles. Mob always dark, can I live some more? Build that fire in a world so cold. Walk on hard coals just to let them know. just to let them know, just to let them know. Right here might hit you different. I don't really care about your petition. Lobbying blacks and these politicians. Walk up in this and I'm cold dripping. Talk to me nice like your coach with you. You and me, cause we ain't no different. We fight the same demons and they so vicious. Tell me what I feel like in that row. Dance around on the merry-go. Do anything for the white man dough. Stack that bread, then off you go like, oh my, he did good. He came up just like he should. He did what we never could. But why you never come around the neighborhood?
What a great weekend it was as we celebrated Indigenous Round. But the great thing about season 2025 is that it spans 2 rounds of footy this year. And I think it was very fitting that Josh Addo-Carr, yesterday, Gus, you were calling this one, had an absolute cracker.
Fastest man on the planet. Scored a crucial try. Absolutely terrific in the game. Don't know what he was doing at the back end of the game.
He thought he'd make it interesting.
Probably just trying to keep the crowd entertained.
Yeah, exactly.
It's wonderful Indigenous Round, and thinking about all the young boys and girls sitting at home there watching that, they get inspired by it. We're getting more and more of these players rising to the top. They're such brilliant players, and it's a wonderful weekend for the game, and particularly with fellas like this that
Does
are
he have too much tape?
passionate about it.
Look at the tape.
No, he's sponsored by Elastoplast.
He must have a couple of sore fingers. Look at that.
What, you reckon?
Both hands.
Have you seen anything like that?
He's being held together with sticky tape.
Especially a winger. Not a winger.
Oh, please.
Don't start on wingers, gal.
Come on.
I love the Fox.
Another talking point coming out of this one was Mitchell Moses. Not only his heroics, but there were not 1, not 2, but 3 moments where he absolutely gave it to Talon De Silva for... once, this is the first one, so Talon De Silva just went himself on the last. There are another 2 sloppy passes. Do you have an issue with this from the skipper, Cam, or is that what you expect?
What did he say there, Em?
I'm not a great lip reader, and I don't swear.
I've got no issue with it all. I've got no issue with it all, and I don't think anyone involved in the game does. I understand why fans think it's an issue, but it's not like it's Talon's job there to get the ball to the halfback. Yeah. That's his job. And if he didn't do that, he's got every right to play. I remember playing a couple of test matches with JT. If you did something he didn't want you to do, wow, like you'd cop it, both barrels. And that's the way he plays the game. So I've no issue at all, and yeah, good on him for doing it.
Yeah, I've got no issue with it. I think different players handle those situations differently. I've seen Mitch do that numerous times across his career, even back when I was playing when he was first starting out. He got quite emotional at times in certain parts of the games. Other players handle it differently. They might just get on with the game and then speak with that particular player after the match and say, hey, listen, in those situations, just pass me the ball there. If I'm calling for it, just give it to me. But he come up with a pretty special play there, like he's done previously.
Yeah, this is, for the uninitiated, this is pretty natural stuff amongst footballers. Yeah. And you have a relationship with them anyway. Yeah. Like we don't take offence to all this sort of thing. Yeah. And you pick your mark too on who you can and can't, so to speak, like that too. Yep. And it doesn't just happen in games, it happens at training, it happens in all sorts of situations. And I know members of the public don't like it, but let the boys there be their boys, and they just get on with it, and they're quite fine with it, those 2 boys, I can guarantee it.
Gus, what about your doggies? This is where we talk about it. It's only round 23, but everyone said they couldn't play wet weather footy. Freddie actually described this as the perfect wet weather game. High completions, early kicks. You must have been loving it.
Well, I'll just jump in there and before Gus goes, but that is the Bulldogs style of football. Yeah. That's what we've seen from them all year, and it's why they've been so consistent. They're sitting inside the top 4, so I think it stands up in wet weather footy.
Yeah, I think wet weather or not, wet weather or not. It's
wet weather football is finals football.
Yeah.
Wet weather football is origin football. It's test football. Yeah. That's the way you win.
Big game footy.
That's big game football. That's the way you've got to play. Yeah, I don't think it was the wet weather that was the problem in any of those other losses. Perhaps their mentality or the type of game they played that night wasn't conducive to the conditions, but there were other reasons why they played poorly. They put it down themselves to mentality, and they fixed their mentality and their mental preparation this week, and they were excellent. You know, still a long way to go.
Yeah. You'll be saying it's only a prelim final.
Yeah. Still a long way to go.
What about the Warriors? So they've slipped out of the top 4. History tells us you can't win the competition if you're not in the top 4. But there's been a little bit of a theory that's been floated. If you are the Warriors, do you almost not mind finishing 5th? Because of the travel factor, you get the home final with that crowd at Go Media Stadium. Because if you finish 4th, you either be Melbourne or Canberra, most likely. Is it one where you think, well, probably doesn't make a hot...
Go for the top 4.
Yeah, you want to finish top 4.
I
just think the Warriors, I feel for them. They've had such a good year. They've unearthed some real good talent, some young players coming through, but I just think they've hit the wall a little bit. Too many injuries to key players, and I said on this show 3 or 4 weeks ago, I think they'll slip outside the top 4, and I can't see them getting back in there.
I went to Leichhardt Oval on Saturday and watched the lower grades players, their New South Wales Cup team and their Jersey Fleet team. I'm telling you, there's a mile of good football coming out of that club soon. They've got some really talented kids coming through. And the first grade sides obviously had injuries, and they lost their halfback early in that game the other night, which didn't help them. And they're a target for every team now. Like they're recognised as one of the top sides. So you just have these little runs in football, but I think they can recover. They've got a really good draw leading into the finals. I still think they can win their last 4 games, and that will nearly get them in a top 4 position.
Well, right now, the Raiders are sitting pretty at the top of the ladder, so entertaining footy, as always, we see from the Warriors. But the Raiders sitting pretty at the top. Ethan Strange had a blinder. They've invested in him and Ethan Sanders as well. But Coach Ricky Stewart said after the match, on our coverage here on 9, he said he will play for the Kangaroos at the end of the year, and he will be the next number 6 for New South Wales.
I think probably will be the next number 6 for the Blues. I think that's fair enough. He's still a kid. Whether he goes on tour this year or not, I'm not too sure. I do think he's a chance. They generally do take a young guy, whether it might be him or Isaiah Katara on the tour at the end of the year. I reckon one of them will go. But he's a good player. I was down there the other night. What impressed me most about the Canberra side was their defence. And I heard Gus talking on air about how the outside backs almost show you space and dare you to go there, and they're fast enough to cover, which they are. But what impressed me most about their defence was what happens inside. That what you can't see on the TV, the amount of players coming and rushing from the inside, which gives them outside backs confidence to just go out and cover the space. They're a very, very good side and very powerful. We've spoken about before, Smithy. Powerful, fast, outside backs that just play fearlessly, but all tied together by Fogarty in the halves. He's that older, experienced head, and he ties it all together really well. So, yeah, they're a good side.
I don't think Ricky Stewart says that lightly. I mean, he was very confident when he said, I actually spoke to him the next day too. And I mean, if the Raiders go to a grand final and win the premiership, there's a very good chance he'll be on the boat to England. And probably deserve to go.
Well, they generally take a young bloke.
They used to be old days. When I first started, they went by boat.
But they generally take a young bloke, Gus. Most tours, they normally take a young bloke, an up-and-coming guy. I remember back in 2011, our tour, they took DCE. His first year in first grade.
Yeah. So. They rethought that theory when they took a young Brad Fittler.
He done all right.
He cut a sway through.
I'm not saying he's not up to it, Gus, but is there room for him to go?
Why not?
Well, you'd say Munster will be going.
Munster did.
Yeah, there's a lot of football to be played yet. There's a lot of football to be played.
Well, that's true.
You know, and if he gets to a grand final and they win a premiership, why don't you reward the players that have got them there and done it?
It wouldn't surprise me at all. It wouldn't surprise me if he went. He's a good player, really good player.
Versatility value as well. He played...
In the old days too, they used to play against a lot of the club sides over there. It was a long tour and they played a lot of games, not just test matches. If they're just going for test matches, that probably limits his opportunity. Because they don't have those other games around it. But it'd be well worth taking him for experience.
And it helps too, as you said, Em, like versatility. It helps with those, this short sort of campaign of 3 matches overseas. If you pick up a couple of injuries in, the first test match...
He played under-19s Origin a few years ago, scored a hat-trick in the centres. I mean, I know it's under-19s, but bright future ahead. What about the Sea Eagles? Their finals hopes look all but over. Are you surprised, just given, when you look at their roster at the start of the year, you would have assumed, Gal, that they're playing finals footy?
Yeah, I can't remember if I had them
much?
in there or not. They've had a lot of injuries to some key forwards. I think that's really hurt them. That didn't surprise me.
This was tough to see.
Yeah, that was hard to see.
For anyone,
the
but for Jake
the nicest
Trbojevic,
guy in the game. You just don't want to see that happen to him at all. He's such a good fella.
Would you consider leaving him out for the rest of the year, Gab? Like, is that 3 this year?
Yeah, I'm not. I don't know how
at
bad
least
he is.
2 serious ones.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure if it was 3, but
I look at it. I feel sorry for him. Turbo, unfortunately, isn't playing. What we know he can do. They've got some injuries to some key forwards. It doesn't surprise me at all that they're slipping outside the top 8.
Canberra handled them pretty comfortably the other night. That was a very composed, professional win, wasn't it? They were never in danger.
Gal, your Sharkies,
I
mate,
just-
honestly,
I know.
on their day,
Just when I start to turn you like, me and Smithy talking last week, you just started to, they win 4 in a row and then they put a performance like that in, and it just, to me, they just come back to I'm not sure what their completion rate was, but they made so many basic errors, and look, I've got to say, the Dragons aren't a bad side. They've lost 3 or 4 games by 1 point. They've lost 6 or 7 games by less than a try. So they're not a bad side. They do turn up week in, week out and have a go. Form goes out the window in local derbies, as we know, but the Sharkies, in my opinion, had a real opportunity to win that game and head towards the top 4, because they've got a decent run the last 4 games. They've still got to buy up their sleeve too. I think they could have been headed towards the top 4, but I think that's going to really hurt that chance. And I love the Sharkies.
You got to be so careful, like in these latter stages of the competition. If you're sitting in that top 4 or sort of top 8, and you're looking at playing finals footy, and you're playing someone down low where they think, our season's over.
You think you should win.
So mindset and attitude, right? You can't allow any type of complacency, but you also got to understand they want to try and disrupt your path to the finals, right? Because they think, our season's over. We're not going to play finals. Let's try and make a bit of a disruption in this competition where we can try and knock off a couple of those teams at the top.
I think more than ever. I think in past seasons we've seen once a team drops out contention from the 8, they find it hard to emotionally hold it together, and they can have some big scorelines run against them by the top teams. But not in this competition at the moment. There's a lot of upsets coming from the bottom, and those 2 games that we saw yesterday, which was 4 of the lower placed teams on the ladder, but it was an outstanding afternoon of rugby league and what they produced in 2 really close games. I mean, those bottom sides can't afford to give up on their season. They can't afford to be trounced at the back end of the year because there's contracts up for grabs and, credibility and all that sort of thing. I think the bottom sides have done really well. This is a bizarre competition, honestly. If you ran it for another 10 weeks, it might flip on its head again. I said 10 weeks ago, this competition could flip on its head, and it has. All right? And in 10 more, 12 more weeks' time, if you kept going, it would nearly flip on its head again. There'll be other teams that rise and other teams that fall. So it's a bizarre competition this year. Anyone can win it. Guarantee you, anyone can win it. The winner is well hidden.
I like that.
You think
Very wise. Wow. You are wise.
You reckon they come from outside the top 4 this year?
Anything can happen this year. Anything.
Well, Souths can't win, and they can't make the 8, so...
No.
Well, within reason. Lots still to play out.
How hard did he hit you?
I had to get you, mate. I had to get you because you were carrying on.
You bring in a lot. Cam brought a lot, so you might get an early mark. Time to say goodbye to you.
Is that it?
Yes,
I'm
that's
going.
it for
Thanks,
you,
Em.
apparently.
Well done.
Thank you again, and congratulations once again
Thank you.
on the Hall of
Appreciate
Fame. For everyone else, stay with us here on 100% Footy. Scuttlebutt is coming up next after the break. And as we mentioned, the Raiders sitting pretty at the top of the ladder, so we are hoping for many more moments of magic like this.
You got a scoop for us, Gus? A scoop. You know something. You're not.
I might be wrong. Why lose a song?
I've got to lose it. Well, it can only be done at the Dogs then if he's dealing in facts.
Don't start me on this.
Oh yes, time for Scuttlebutt with the one and only Michael Chammas. late caller?
Yeah, I wasn't supposed to be here, but Danny Weidler fell over walking his cat in Bondi this morning, so...
Is that a legit story?
Fell down, apparently down a muddy hill.
Does he?
No, he does. He walks the cat. He does, yeah.
I stand corrected.
In his Crocs.
There you go. Well, we've put you to work, so you've got something.
Yeah.
Sandon Smith, come on.
Don't judge me.
Deliver for us.
Yeah, Sandon Smith's been given formal permission by the Roosters to negotiate with rival clubs. He's been in conversations with the Canberra Raiders. The Raiders are looking at some depth. We know that Jamal Fogarty is moving on to the Manly Seagulls next year. Ethan Sanders coming through. They've got big raps on him, and they're looking to add some depth in that half. So they're in conversations with Sandon for next year. Don't know if it'll play out that way, whether or not he wants to go somewhere and start. Now, options are limited at the moment. So the Roosters, they have given him the formal permission to go out there and suss out a job for next year.
What about Josh Papali'i? I think when everyone heard that he was leaving Canberra, it doesn't matter if you're a Raiders fan or just a general league fan, we were devastated. But is there a chance he might be able to stay?
Well, Ricky was crying tears of joy when he kicked that goal, so maybe he was happy to get rid of him. But no, the talk out of Canberra is that Josh is going to stay there. They haven't worked out the financial arrangements of it, but Trey Mooney, the young front row at the club's in negotiations with Newcastle. Looks like he'll be heading over to the Knights on a 3-year deal. If the Raiders can get a deal done with Josh Papali'i, my understanding is that's going to happen. He's informed his club in England that he's not going to head overseas, and looks like he's going to stay in the NRL, which is great for Canberra.
I had a good chat to Puppy after the game. I said, mate, you're not really going overseas, are you? He goes, oh, I don't know. He didn't tell me anything, obviously, but like he played Origin six weeks ago. He's on fire at the moment. He's in a club leading the competition. He's going really well. I'd be shocked if he left.
Yeah, he obviously... He's found form this year, and the way he's played, the way the young guys have played, has brought the best out of him.
What about Connor Tracy? Could maybe see him back?
Yeah, some good news for the Dogs. He's going to be named tomorrow for the Bulldogs. He's obviously been out for a couple of weeks now. They're planning on naming him in their squad and giving him till later in the week, I think Wednesday or Thursday, to make a decision on Connor Tracy. So that's a timely boost for the Bulldogs on the back of that impressive win over the Warriors this week.
Gus, he seems like just someone that everyone wants around the club. Great bloke, super professional. How do you sum up what he's added to the Dogs?
I've always been a fan, and he's had a career. Like, he's 29 years of age and he hasn't played enough NRL football for his talent because of injuries. This was the first off-season he's trained in about 5 or 6 years. And what they've found with him, because he's pretty finely tuned, and with these sort of athletes in the past, they've kind of sort of rest, deload them, don't give them too much stress. What they've found with him is the harder he trains, the better it's going to be for him. And he doesn't have rest days. He trains every day. He goes and gets treatment with Justin Lang over there at Cronulla, and they really work him hard. So he's found that the harder he works off the field and the less rest that he has, the best he's going to be. So which is why they'll be careful about his return this week, because obviously he's recuperated from that stomach injury, which we thought was going to be out for 3 or 4 weeks. So that would be the earliest he'd get back this week, but they want to make sure they get plenty of load into him this week before they declare him fit to play.
And just tough as well. Like, it's a gruesome
injury. He's a great kid.
Right?
He's a great kid. He really is a great kid, and he's been very versatile. He's played a number of positions, but I always saw him as a Dylan Edwards type player. I really thought he would change our lives if we got him to the Bulldogs and played fullback, and he's certainly done that.
Great to see him back. What about Bailey Simonson? So it seems like he's asked for a release at least a couple of times from the Eels. Is he going to get his way? Yeah,
this has been an interesting one over the last month that's played out. So he was dropped a few weeks back after the Raiders game and then asked for a release from the club. I think it was in line with the August 1 transfer deadline to the Super League. He then spoke to the club. They asked him what his preferred position was. He told them wing. He didn't mean that he didn't want to play in the centres at all, but then when an opportunity came this week to play in the centres, Jason Riles picked Dylan Brown ahead of him. Now, that didn't go down well with Bailey Simonson. He then asked for another release. Since then, he's asked the club not to return to training, have some time away, been granted a leave of absence. My understanding is he's due back to training in the next 48 hours. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out, because Jason Riles was a big fan of him. You have to remember, he was coming off an ACL, Bailey Simonson. He re-signed him for a couple of years, Jason Riles. So this has taken him as a bit of a shock. They rate him. He's on decent money at Parramatta, but if I was a betting man, I don't think we'll see him playing for the Parramatta Eels again.
Surely that's untenable now, when you've asked for a release that many times.
Well, it is, but there are financial permutations. Yeah, like obviously, Parramatta are looking after him, but there are financial permutations now in terms of if he goes now, he's not going to get paid if he just demands to leave and they don't pay him, and then also he's got to find a club. So how much to para chip in? There's a whole heap of things to work out, but it's got ugly pretty quickly at Parramatta, and I don't think Bailey Simonson will be in their plans going forward.
And last but not least, what do you have on Dane Laurie?
Yeah, obviously back to the Panthers this year, Dane Laurie. He's been told by the club that there won't be a contract for him beyond this year. He's off contract at the end of the year and has been told there's nothing there for him. It's on the back of Maverick Geyer, told the same thing as well from the Penrith Panthers. So they're looking to replenish some of their depth players in their squad. Some of those guys who are off contract won't be getting, or most of the guys who are off contract won't be getting new deals. So Dane Laurie at the moment on the lookout for a new deal at a rival club. So you just see, he's a handy player, Dane Laurie. He's had some good times at the Tigers when he broke through, and has shown at Penrith that he's more than a handy footballer.
Any early ideas about what clubs might be after him, or where do you think he might be suited?
Oh, no idea. I haven't even thought about it. I didn't even know that he was going to be released. So, yeah, a bit hard to just throw it on me.
Gus, you saw that highlights package of him early on, right? So were you the one who originally... Yeah.
Dane, yeah. We recruited
you originally brought him over.
We recruited him as a 16-year-old from up Northern Rivers there somewhere. It was the best junior highlights tape I'd ever seen. I took it into Jimmy Jones. I said, am I looking at the right thing here? I said, look at this. I think he was playing half or 5'8" up there. He's played every position in the back line for the clubs that he's played in. He came down, he was great with the Panthers, but he had some real talent in front of him, Dylan Edwards and Nathan Cleary and Jerome Luai and those sort of fellas. Went to the Tigers, made a good fist of it. Along comes Jareem Buller, and they made some other purchases as well. He's gone back to Panthers. He won them the game in Las Vegas this year playing on the wing. If you remember, they lost their winger early in the game, and he came on and scored a couple of tries and won them that game. He's a very versatile player, great kid. As
the Perth Bears, the looming franchise, has that any impact on the player market yet, Gus, or you won't feel the effects of that for a little while?
Managers are spruiking it, but it's not affecting us. I haven't been in too many conversations about that.
Time will tell.
Long way away, Perth.
Chammy, not bad for last minute. Not bad.
Yeah, well, hopefully Danny's okay. I know we'd be watching. So
is the cat okay?
He's got his warm milk out watching the show.
Oh, yes. Let's not get into that realm. Danny's got his robe on, his warm milk.
He's a man. He's a creature of habit.
He's a bit of a nerd. Is that what we're saying?
No, you're saying it.
Danny. He's a nerd, but a nerd that we love. Stay with us here on 100% Footy. Up next is the Tab Top 3. We are talking all things NRLW footy on a very special weekend, the first official Indigenous round in the women's game. Welcome back to 100% Footy. It was a very special weekend, the first Indigenous round in the NRLW. So tonight, our Tab Top 3 has an NRLW flavour to it. And Gus, first off, I'm going to go to you. You always love a bit of speed on the field, and Maria Paseka was brilliant to watch in full flight.
Whooshka. What about that? Just left them in a wake, didn't she? Brilliant run.
Have you loved that about the women's game? I mean, one of her teammates, Tegan Berry, she was suspended, so we didn't see her out there. She's one of the fastest, but they're athletic and...
It's been hard for the girls this year because we've had so much wet weather too.
Yeah,
like, you know, the men have suffered, but the girls particularly, and it was nice to see a drier track there on the weekend and an athlete really take over.
Number 2, we can't go past Elsie Albert and Gal. You know you love a big hit. She puts them on every single week.
Yeah, it's not her first big hit, and it definitely won't be her last. She's renowned for this, Elsie, and what a shot that was. Bang. So what, the girl didn't want to hold it. So, well, it's her too, but did want to hold it, gets up, play the ball, so well done. But Elsie Albert, great shot, and I'm sure we'll see plenty more from her this year.
Well, she needed to go to Specsavers. You just don't run at it like that. I'll just go down the short side here and get belted.
What about
Crikey.
Samaima Taufa, your favourite ever play? Do you think Samaima still hits better than Elsie?
I think I'd like to see Samaima run at Elsie.
Oh, Samaima v Elsie.
The irresistible force and the immovable object.
Oh, I like. Rounding out our Tab Top 3, in top spot, it was against your doggies. This was a bit of heartbreak, but the Warriors, this was special from Ekanasio there.
Yeah.
He just gets in.
Yeah, it's happened to fullbacks and wingers since time began, hasn't it? Thought it was going to go dead, and she reached out and got the ball down. Wasn't much in it. With my new eyesight, I could see that was a try.
Oh, that was going dead for all money.
Yeah. Watch the reaction. Just puts her hand over her mouth and goes, oh dear.
It's great for the Warriors.
Yeah.
Back in the
They
competition.
were
Not
good.
so great for you.
They were good. They won well.
It makes life got tougher for the Dogs. A couple of injuries to their halves, Taylor Preston and Ash Quinlan. Do you have much of an update on those two?
Yeah, Ash Quinn was precautionary. It was hamstring, maybe 1 week. She might even play this week. Taylor Preston, MCL. Hopefully, she might even play this week. But the other girl, Tegan Demick, has done it with Frank. She needs surgery. She's out for the rest of the season. So with a little bit of luck, the two halves aren't too bad. Got a bit of a shock for both of them, but once they cooled down, they weren't too bad at all.
Alana was saying on the weekend she thinks Taylor has the best kicking game in the competition.
Terrific. Yeah, she's terrific. Yeah, in all forms of kicking too, like field goals, conversions, short kicks, long kicks, high kicks. She's a real talent. And
the week before up at Magic Round in the wet, she kicked a couple of, they're 40-30s in the women's game, but they were genuine 40-20s.
Yeah,
she could kick better than
she's a great
some
kicker.
of the blokes
Great kicker.
at times.
Yeah.
Anyway, pleasure to watch. Stay with us here on 100%. We're going to wrap it all up after this short break. Welcome back to 100% Footy. Huge weekend coming up here on Nine's Wide World of Sports. We have 4 games live and free. Gus, the grand final rematch on Thursday night. Who do you have?
Panther.
And for you, Gal, Roosters Doggies
I'm
on
going to go
Friday
the Roosters.
nights.
Roosters.
Yeah, off the back of Sam Walker's confidence. Bunnies, Eels, Gal.
Eels.
Gus, Bunnies, Eels.
Eels.
And then final one, Cowboys Knights.
Yeah, the Cows.
Gus.
Yeah, Cowboys. They played well on the weekend. Could have nearly won.
Big weekend ahead. It's been fun. Hope you enjoyed it. James Bracey will be back next week. Right now he's having whiskey at the Snow. So Bracey, if you're watching us, hope you're having fun. For everyone else, we'll see you next week.
This has been another presentation from Nine's Wide World of Sports.